So this, we go back to what I'm saying, okay? That whenever you begin to recognize there's only presence, then something takes over. And you might find yourself praying. You might find yourself chanting. You might find yourself, I don't know, falling in love with everything and anyone. There is this incredible energy that comes alive in you. And you allow it, you see? And that very allowing of that energy is the grace that is purifying you and taking away all that egoic surplus that was there. See, that's why the word forgiveness is so beautiful. Because forgiveness means it's a cleansing of everything that you have thought which was not real. Because anything that is not presence is relative truth. It is not the truth. It is relative. Relative truth means everything it has come from presence. Everything that we see. The wall, the carpet, people, bodies, the technology, everything has come from presence. You see? Presence is the ultimate reality from which everything creates. But this presence also creates thought and emotion that comes from thought. So everything that we feel is coming from presence, but is not the presence. It is coming from it. Cause, effect. Do we see the difference? Okay. The presence is the cause. Thoughts, emotions, all feelings are effects. They're relative to the cause. So therefore they are relative truths. This is why that Einstein came up with this theory of relativity. And he blew away many minds when they started becoming clear of what he meant by the theory of relativity. And he said that everything is relative to light. Everything is relative to that supreme state of being, you see? So. So, okay, we covered these questions, these beliefs that we have, and the one truth, the one reality, the one life-changing one is that there's only presence, there's only now. Now, when I say this, and those of you listening to the video, send me emails, and if you're not clear. Is this very clear when I talk about presence? What do you know what it means? Presence, what it is? Presence?
I have a sense of that.
Okay, tell me about the sense of that.
Well, I know how it feels to be in that state of merging, because I know all the nagging discomforts and doubts and thoughts and all that are gone. So at that time,
so there's a moment of merging.
A moment of merging, and I know what that feels like.
Right, that's presence.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, presence is your totality here now. You are here. But forget yourself, forget how you're sitting or who you think you are, and just be. And just observe and see. You see? And you are this presence. That's it. It's very, very simple. It's so simple that we, quote, do not believe it. But once we start living from it, we see that it is everything. Nothing. Because it's the only real thing that there is. There is nothing more real than that. When you look at the look of a child and you look into its eyes, there's only presence that you see. The child has no ego. And at that moment, he's filled with joy, or she's filled with joy, because at that moment there are no needs, nothing. They're just being there, just giggling and laughing, because at that moment there's just presence. You see? And presence is total. Now, the moment there is a need, the moment there's a desire, the moment there's an ego, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong. There's nothing ever wrong. We make it wrong, actually. Just like Shakespeare said, What did Shakespeare say? He said, there's no wrong or right, only thinking makes it so. Thank you. Yeah, and so it is true. So the moment we start to think anything other than presence, we become we get very body conscious. We become body conscious. I am here. And we become body conscious, and that body consciousness is, of course, is part of thinking that you're not presence. But the moment you become presence, you forget. You see, you're free, and that freedom, that total freedom, is the presence, because it allows you to merge. It allows you to express, to be that which you are. So are there any questions? We know what presence is.
I was thinking about sometimes when athletes talk about being in the flow, and they were just, they weren't really even aware that they were, for a while when they were playing the game, if that was what they were doing, that it was just, it was just happening through them.
That's right.
That sounds like presence.
Absolutely. Presence is perfection. If an athlete at the moment, he is pure presence because he practiced enough, because he has enough faith in himself, because he is totally immersed, not self-conscious, there's no doubt, nothing. Okay? At that moment there is perfect motion. I remember I was quite an athlete, and I used to love track and field and high jumps, and I used to jump very, very high. And it was fine because I was winning for my team, blah, blah, blah. One time the manager approached me and he said, I think I mentioned this before, but it's so apropos to what you're asking. And the manager said to me, he says, by golly, he says, you jump higher than anybody I know. He says, what is your secret? And I stopped. What is my secret? I don't know. Well, next time I'm going in for competition and going to the jump, I became aware, what is it that I know now? And I couldn't make it. Because I became self-conscious. You see? And that actually goofed me up, because I was not aware at that time. I was just an athlete, and I was doing what I love doing, so I took it naturally. I was in the flow, but I didn't know that that's what it was. You see? And the moment I became self-conscious, what was my secret? Why am I better than others? The moment I brought it back to an ego level, I started failing, using. So.